Welcome to the Econo-Pak Contract Food Packaging Podcast. I'm Sarah, the Sales and Marketing Manager. We're here with Mike, our Vice President, and Tim, our Director of Procurement. And today we're going to be talking about VMI, Vendor Management Inventory.
VMI, Vendor Managed Inventory, is kind of, I'd probably consider it like a lean manufacturing philosophy, methodology, even potentially like how you treated a Six Sigma tool. Essentially that you are buying at volume and not paying for whatever the purchased goods are until they're released to your facility for production, and the supplier is holding on to the bulk. So whatever the agreement is, there's that, it's basically, I'm going to buy X from you. I purchased it at a greater volume for a discount. I'm going to have it released against my planning demand, that I'm not taking up extra space in the warehouse, right? So it's kind of, you want to have the benefit of the purchase volume with the, the ease of freeing up space in your warehouse for other things. So it's not a new concept. It's been around for a long time. As we previously mentioned, during COVID, that kind of shrunk. It used to, the amount of time that a supplier would hold materials for you has definitely decreased a bit, because a lot of supplying or manufacturing warehouses that held on to materials for their customers, got hit by all the challenges of COVID, whether it was labor or just, whatever, the market instability, all these different things. A lot of manufacturers kind of held on to material longer than they would have liked to, but the concept is still alive. It's something that we've been making changes here in our organization to do, right? So it frees up cash for us, frees up space. We're still tapping into our same buying power. It's a win-win. The challenge is knowing what your should cost is, because you are going to be paying something for the storage. Like that's an agreed upon, whatever that percentage is. Also, you're talking about a little bit extra in logistics cost to run over to you. But if you have trucks coming over weekly, which we do from some suppliers, it's kind of like normal business.
And that can align really well with our, customer service, making sure that they, properly manage a production schedule with a forecast in place. So, I know a lot of our clients, we work with a 13-week rolling forecast with like a 4-week lock. So that gives us the flexibility to be able to, bring those materials in and do the things that we need to, and understanding that with our clients, sometimes things shift out, and so that we can be as flexible as possible. But that 13 weeks allows us to really like plan and make sure that we have the equipment allocated and all those things. But especially with the materials for this conversation, that's critical.
Right. This makes this kind of plan, this project, this kind of philosophy of how to bring materials in, it makes sense for us on a lot of packaging materials for sure, especially things that, take up the most volume, right? So we try to bring those in close to production as possible to support, warehouse capabilities. Obviously, we always do run into challenges with lead times and shifting forecasts, and things of that nature. But again, we work with really great suppliers that help us kind of meet our initiatives, our goals. So it's definitely something that I believe will help us as we scale. Right, as we get more customers in the door, and fulfill those needs, while at the same time giving great service to our existing customer base.
Yeah, PJ, our CEO, he loves that we do just-in-time production, and it takes a lot of management and effort on the part of procurement, logistics to manage all of the materials and production that goes on during that time with all the customers we have in the footprint that we're in. Even though we're growing, our customers are growing right along with us. And so being able to have that just-in-time manufacturing, helps us stay nimble on our feet and prevents us from having to slow down what we can take. So you guys have been doing a really great job.
Always room for improvement, right? We, the just-in-time model, it's a variable. We we're living in one timeline and now we're switching to another, or what we think the best is to, support production and warehouse, operations. And it's kind of, it's a bit of a moving variable for us, but I feel like, against demand planning, we do a good job in the relationships we do have with our existing suppliers. I mean, it's great. It's just one of those things that supply chain, it's like a legitimate living, breathing thing, for sure.
Definitely.
So, yeah, and part of the success is the VMI programs to have the just-in-time delivery options.
Now, is that a big piece of your onboarding process for a supplier? Is hey, when they do offer that type of a program that we can utilize? Oh,
it's definitely part of the checkbox. It's and part of that too is we love to geo-target suppliers. Something that's in our backyard doesn't always happen, but then it's kind of well, what's your logistics lane look like? Will you hold materials for us? We kind of go down that list. What's on-time delivery, and purchase order fulfillment, right? Are you shipping late, short to us all the time? Are you on time, giving us a full PO back? We look at all those types of things. But VMI programs, when we see that, it's always great. We just like to know, how much are we paying for it? We like to have some visibility on.
Of course.
I mean, it's all really straightforward. What does that look like? Does that make sense for us? How much is it for our warehouse team to move all these things versus paying 2 to 4% for the extra storage to have it dropped when we want? That gets us out of these 6-week lead times. Some things for raw materials, not always the case, but we find for some packaging materials it is.
Yeah.
So we take advantage of it when we can, for sure.
Yeah, it seems like a great a great program, and for a vendor to be able to be flexible to offer something like that, it's nice to be able to have that on our checklist.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad we were able to shine a little bit of a spotlight on that today. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Tim.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks.